who was it? Literally just a couple days ago, I think. I looked through all my sent items in YouTube. I looked at my email. I looked on freespeak.net, social media website I created with Pastor Doll. I don't know who it was. I was just telling them. They'd asked me about the student loan debt. And I said, the day's going to come when Congress realizes that debt is not going to happen. It won't be, or the payback of the student loan debt is not going to happen. They're going to have to forgive or do something to get rid of that debt. What I thought to myself would be, wouldn't it be just perfect if they said, oh, give us 6 years military time and we'll wipe it out for free. And we'll pay you, of course, just like you would anyways if you came in here. Something of that nature. That would be a good way for them to do it and sucker a lot of people in to go fight a war that's coming. I'm not going to say that I know that that's what is going to happen, but my comment to this person, this is not the first time I've said this, but it was so recently I've got to mention this, where I told them that they'll have to deal with it. And again, if you take some of that debt and say, okay, you guys are clear because you haven't been paying on it for years now, billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars, the other ones are going to say, well, why should I get stuck paying this bill if they got away with it, right? Which is very interesting. But I said, nonetheless, it's going to be something that Congress is going to have to deal with. That debt is not going to be getting paid. You know, and I don't mean all of it. There are people who are legitimately able to pay off their student loan debt, and they are doing so. But as I did the video the other day talking about this, again, just days ago, I mentioned we're at $1 trillion of student loan debt now, and that I even showed you the graphs, and it just kind of spiked at the last little amount of data that came out. Shows a big spike of delinquent, home loans, not being paid. So I get this article today after I just told somebody that's what I think is going to happen with student loan debt, and I'm not saying that I know what time frame. It could be years from now. I don't know, but nonetheless, Breitbart has an interesting article. And it was posted on the 29th of November, 2012, of course. Washington proposes $1 trillion bailout for delinquent student loans. Sometimes, obviously I'm doing these videos. Hang on. I just had some tiramisu in my throat. It's loving it. Hang on. Now that's a mute button worth having, isn't it? But where I was going with this is, I do these videos every now and then. I'll do a little parody or whatever. Whatever. Just for fun. But again, I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of YouTube videos. So out of those, there's like 5 or 6 parodies I've done, little songs or whatever, just to kind of change the mood. It's kind of funny, but I usually am serious while doing the parody about what I'm singing and messing around about. But my videos generally are, when I upload them, I'm putting on there educational. Under the topic, when you upload to YouTube, well, here's the topics. Funny, educational, political, but it's always educational. I always choose that. Because my intentions have always been to educate and wake people up, basically. So doing this, I don't just cover 1 or 2 things. Man, I cover a whole lot of stuff. So in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, man, I sure hope I'm giving the right advice. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't it suck if I've just been given the wrong advice? That would hurt, man. That would really hurt me. My feelings and everything. I consider myself a genuine person, human being. I think I've proven so over the last few years of doing videos and, the stuff I cover. But, in the back of your mind, you always just, am I really, is that when someone asked me that and I gave them the answer, is that really right? And I've always concluded, yeah, I think it was. Same with the answer I gave this person about the student loans. So this is like a little reassurance. Again, hang on. Tiramisu's killing me. And this is one of those what do they call it, non-BPH or something bottles, you know, safe to drink out of, crap that the bottle's made of, not going to kill you. Yep. Thanks to my old trusty wife, she on top of that kind of stuff. So anyways, this just reassures me. When I see something like on Breitbart reassuring me that something that hasn't happened, and I'm telling someone this is how I think it's going to happen, they're going to have to deal with this debt, and it ain't going to be such as, you know, forcing people to pay. It's not going to happen. So when I see this headline blaring down at me, Washington proposes $1 trillion bailout for delinquent student loans. It's reassurance that, good job, you know, to myself anyways, a little pat on the back for myself. You are telling people good, or even though it's advice and speculation at times like this, it hasn't happened yet. I'm guessing they're going to have to deal with this based off of what I've seen. Bailout for this, bailout for that, turning this into a socialistic country. That's going to be something that they just write off. So, again, they're trying to fight now to up the national debt, or not up it, but to get rid of the upping of the debt via Congress having to vote, just, or, you know, give it up, hand it off to the president, just let him do it. As little Timmy Geithner said, we just need to get rid of it. And since little Timmy Geithner and Obama are like this, and have known each other for years and years and years, by the way, including back when Obama was very young, overseas, little Timmy Geithner was working with the Obama family. If you go to Wikipedia and just search for Timothy Geithner, read it. It's not a long read. And it will tell you what I just told you about, how they were like this, in a sense, long ago. Nothing happens by chance. It's not like they just said, oh, hey, we think Timmy Geithner. Who's this guy, Timmy Geithner? You know exactly who he is. You've been pals with him for a long time. So if little Timmy Geithner wants the debt ceiling gone to where they can just raise it to infinity, Obama's going to be right there with him. That's basically a vote for Obama and him together. Having said that, let's just see what this article says. And there's even a news clip from CNBC, which I don't need to play because this article explains everything. But I will link to the site in case you want to watch it. A possible $1 trillion bailout is coming and soon. America's now nationalized student loan industry just reached a value of $1 trillion. According to Citigroup, Junior, when we get home, remind me to punch your mama in the mouth. That was from Buford T. Justice, Smokey and the Bandit. Killing my throat. America's now nationalized student loan industry just reached a value of $1 trillion according to Citigroup, growing at a 20% per year pace. Since President Obama nationalized the industry, which was a tacked-on provision on the Obamacare bill, by the way, tuition has gone up 25%, and the 3-year default rate is at a record 13.4%. Ron discussed the problem last night with Larry Kudlow, and he's got the link below. With many young people unable to pay their loans, and it says average graduating debt is about $29,000, Citigroup and others are speculating that this industry might be ripe for a bailout. Oh, it is. To pay off all the current defaults, Citigroup says it would cost taxpayers $74 billion. However, this number doesn't include those who will default in the coming years, and when the government rewards the defaulters by just bailout, it will encourage more borrowers not to pay their debts. Obviously, kind of like the housing market. And everybody that I talk to, when they hear anything about, oh, you quit paying a mortgage, or you were advised not to pay your mortgage, they already know at least 1 or 2 people that have already done it. And now they're contemplating it. I get that everywhere I go and talk to people. So that's another thing. And liberals in Congress have proposed forgiving all student loans via what is called the Student Loan Forgiveness Act of 2012, costing taxpayers $1 trillion. And these links to it from that Forgiveness Act is from something from the Huffington Post. Student Loan Forgiveness Act 2012, Representative Hanson Clark proposes bill to cut debt after 10 years, which is H.R. 4170, would forgive student loan debt for those who have paid 10% of their discretionary income toward their loans for 10 years and would cap interest on federal blah, 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 whatever. Adding another $1 trillion to the national debt isn't exactly forgiveness for young people. It's prolonging the payoff. In fact, student loan bailouts are basically a catch-22 for young people because they're going to be held accountable for paying off the national debt and interest payments on that national debt. A student loan bailout will also be rewarding higher education bureaucrats for a diminished product. A college degree used to mean that a person on average would take home a cool $1 million on top of normal income, or based, in other words, if they didn't have a college education, they would earn an additional, if you will, $1 million of income over their lifetime. Today, a college degree only guarantees an average $300,000 in added income over a lifetime. The answer isn't a bailout. The student loan industry must be returned to the private sector. Would a private lender ever invest $100,000 of their money in a student that had no plan? No. It's not about limiting access to college. It's about making sure students have a well thought out plan for their future before investors put a $100,000 stake on their education. College should be about specializing in a trade rather than defaulting to general studies that won't lead to a job. Hence the fact that half, and I bet that number's higher nowadays, of the students that graduate from college don't even go get a job in the industry that they went to college for. So what in the hell did they go there for? A civics education is important, but why would an employer hire someone with no applicable work skills, especially in a slow economy? If we wish to end the incentives for bailouts, we need to hit higher education in the purse. Endless government money and bailouts won't get our students jobs, and it won't fix the problem. Again, that's from Breitbart. I'm going to link to that, and this is going to be a sure thing sooner or later. And again, whether it's the full amount that needs to be bailed out or just the ones that aren't paying, etc. And I'm kind of leaning towards the ones that aren't paying to be bailed out, because it'll be kind of like unemployment where they keep extending it more, 99 more weeks, give them some more weeks, unemployment more weeks, etc. And they keep that going. And then when they fall off that, then they go ahead and apply for, obviously, government help, EBT card, etc. And then they're set. You never hear from them again. You don't know if they got a job or not. The government claims they did because they took them off the list of unemployment. So they must have had a job, even though they're now qualified to suck off the government teat. And again, I can't sit here and fault people for losing their job and trying to live. I mean, you can't fault people. And then when they realize, man, I got free healthcare now. I get a nice subsidy on that. I mean, the whole thing basically. I now get Medicaid. I also get an EBT card to buy groceries. Hell, all we got to do is get a little part-time job. As a matter of fact, we could work under the table somewhere and be living like kings. So then it becomes, man, I'm glad my government had that there for me when I needed it, because I lost my job and this and that. But now that I'm living it, man, this ain't too bad. Why the hell should I go work for someone? I'll lose all these benefits. My kids won't get health care. I'll lose the health care. Wow. Then you are stuck. And that same government, again, that will then promise you we'll keep those things. But you got to vote for this guy over here. One of the two clowns, Democrat or Republican. You got to vote. If you vote for this guy, and maybe they'll fight between each other. And like this time around, Obama, he's the guy. He's the handout guy. Oh, we got to go get him. And at the same time, with the voting and the rigging that we just saw this last time again, they already chose Obama. They, the elite, already chose Obama. It didn't matter about people voting. It meant nothing. So anyways, this is all I got for you. Another day in paradise. Take care.